All your life, you have heard people tell you that being afraid of the dark was childish. That was a stupid and irrational fear. But what those people don't know is that there is very much to be afraid of. My story goes back to my childhood and is based on the events that actually happened when I was younger. As young a man as 17, I had been told by professionals that I suffer from alphagophobia, or in other words, fear of the dark. Multiple times I have told family and these professionals that I was never afraid of the dark, but instead some force that lay just way beyond the visibility. I would recall the moments in my childhood when I was powering, dark figure would approach me in my room and I would black out, and the next morning I would be covered in bruises with no memory of the night before except for the being. The figure was no bigger than any man I had, at the time, met, but he was far stronger. Every night I was visited by the figure. I would figure experience traumatic, reoccurring dreams, and they usually consisted of me and my loved ones walking around an iron cage maze that was rigged with booby traps. Every so often, my perspective would shift from me in first and third person to a family member being morbidly executed. The one death that could never change my mind was my mother's. She would take the first step into the maze and be immediately skewered by spikes, left to down to choke on her own blood and slowly bleed out. Every time I retold my stories, I ended up being left with no choice but to recant them and admit them to being dreams. But I knew that there was a presence lurking in the darkness. It watched me growing up into a tall, strong, and smart young man, has left me to know who knows why these last few years. But as I lay in bed, I hear the low and struggled breathing just under me, the probing of the unseen eyes penetrating me through the dense blackness of my room, the subtle creaking of the floorboards and tapping of the hangers in my closet.